The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions. Shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo coming through with the 50-piece. If you guys don't know the significance of the 50-piece, after he won his title, he went to Chick-fil-A and ordered a 50-piece nugget.
Can I have a 50 piece? Sorry, I will put you. Can I put your camera? Do you mind or no?
Sure.
There's 150,000 people watching you right now.
Really?
Yes. So can I have please a 50 piece Mac Minis, 50 exactly.
Okay.
Not 51, not 49. Chicken Minis, yes. 50.
Which is crazy. So many things to unpack about this series. We want to give credit to the champions. They did their thing. We'll also give the credit to the Suns. And kind of like, what was the turning point in this series? It was simply the fact that the Suns started not executing. The first two games that came into the series, they were executing. They were running their Spain pick and roll. And essentially, they started going away from that. And they started allowing Devin Booker to go one-on-one because they saw that he was scoring a lot. Which is then, in turn, what happens? It deregulates your offense. Other guys can't get in rhythm. Starters like Jay Crowder start becoming a negative instead of a plus. And then you have young guys like Cam Johnson who aren't getting any burning. When they do get in the game, they got to watch Devin Booker and Chris Paul isolate instead of getting the ball in rhythm to shoot. If you watch the first two games, they were getting a lot of shots. And it was more like everybody was live. 5 guys were active and live and ready to go. And then towards the end of the series, you saw guys was getting plugged up, guys weren't getting in rhythm, and Devin Booker and CP3 just kept having the ball in their hands. So they stopped executing, stopped running sets. And as opposed to the Milwaukee Bucks, which they didn't even really play a clean game throughout the whole entire series, more and more they started running more plays for Giannis. More ISOs, less three-point shooting by everybody else. Executing better little by little by little. They started figuring out lineups. Bobby Portis started playing more. Connaughton started playing more. Guys were getting more and more into a rhythm. And what I saw this series is once the Suns lost 3 straight, and you saw the last game before Game 5, I told you the series was over because they lost 3 straight in a row. It was just games where the Bucks, despite all the mistakes the Bucks would make, like missing free throws and things of that nature, the Suns just couldn't overcome it. And that was my cue to let me know that this series was over. Because, especially in the finals, because a lot of people will make like a big deal about the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers coming back and winning a championship. What you people don't really realize about that series was, yeah, they came back 3-1, Draymond Green, all this other stuff. But the Cavs did not lose 3 straight. You see what I'm saying? The Warriors won 2, Cavs won 1. Game 4, Warriors won that in Cleveland. And then from there, that preceded the 3 straight for Cleveland. So once you lose 3 straight in a series, it's a wrap. Like, I mean, for Cleveland, of course, it was a wrap. They won. But I'm talking about for the Suns, when they went down 3-2, and they couldn't steal a game in Milwaukee, that basically showed everybody like, okay, it is what it is. Like, and people weren't paying attention to that because there were no more adjustments Mighty Wheels can make. That means the Spain pick and roll wasn't working, which is why they went away from it. It means Devin Booker was giving them everything they had, and it still wasn't enough. Devin Booker had 40. Chris Paul had 20 and 11, and they were still losing games. They shot 60% from 3. They were still losing games. The series was over at that point. Now, Giannis puts the icing on the cake with a crazy closeout Game 6. Goes off, gives you 50. Oh my goodness. He hit 17 and 19 from free throws. I mean, that's just the ultimate F you to all his critics. Guys that say he can't shoot free throws. Guys that say he doesn't have a game. Oh, Chris Paul the week before, all he does is layup, dunk. Like, that's all he does. James Harden, his game doesn't require skill. Here's the thing, guys. Every skill is different in life. Even on the SATs, they have math, reading, and then they added spatial intelligence into the SATs, right? Everybody's skill is different. Do you know that banging and getting rebounds and dunking, that's a skill. Not everybody can do it. There's people that's 7 feet right now, and they can't play a lick of basketball or handle the ball or dunk really well or jump really high. You know what I'm saying? There's 7-footers that, guys like Nate Robinson can block. So when people say that Giannis doesn't have a skill, I tend to disagree. His skill is his athleticism. Like, let me give you a prime example. Russell Westbrook can't do what Giannis did. Russell Westbrook, he has, let's just say he has a little more or evenly matched athleticism as Giannis, and he's not blocking guys like that, or he's not getting to the cup like that, or he's not nailing clutch free throws like that and stuff like that all the time. Even though he's been a good free throw shooter earlier in his career, like kind of late in his career, he kind of dwindled, but it's a skill. Like, I know Giannis has the height or whatever the case is, but guys try to play him out like he wasn't a skilled player. And he was showing guys, game 5 and 6 especially, I can pass. I can defend. I can help weak side defend. Jimmy Butler was making fun of Giannis, I believe it was a couple years ago, saying that, Giannis is not the kind of defender that, he could lock somebody up one-on-one. What happened this year? He gets swept. And Giannis was a primary defender on Butler multiple times. See what I'm saying? Like, so everything that they said he couldn't do, he figured out a way to do it. And you got to commend somebody like that. That's the true heart of a champion. And that's a guy that's working on his craft day in and day out. And this is what I hate about, like, the commentary these days, how we judge players. I throw myself in there. You'll say a guy can't do something, but then you'll make it seem like he can't ever work on it to get better. You see what I'm saying? Like, or you'll make it seem like just because the guy has a limitation, that's not a good thing. Like, he has to have his strengths. And here's the thing, guys. Everybody can't be Giannis. Everybody can't be Steph. Everybody can't be Durant. Everybody can't be LeBron. But that's what makes the game lovely. The melting pot of different people with different skills. If everybody was able to do the same thing, shoot the same way, make free throws the same way, where would be the excitement in the game? The games will all be even. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you just got to commend Giannis. Then the gauntlet he ran through, you see what I'm saying? He swept the Heat, 7 games with the Nets, 6 games with the Hawks, which, what's his name got hurt? Trae Young got hurt, but he still got through it. And then you go against the Suns, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They feeling themselves, and they got Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and you overcome a 2-0 deficit. They have a crazy hard playoff run. Just playing the Nets, and despite guys getting injured, we're like one toe tap away, 1 foot on the line from Kevin Durant, and the Nets advancing playing the Atlanta Hawks. So that just shows you how close the series was, and James Harden was a shell of himself. Like, just imagine if James Harden and Kyrie didn't really go down with injury and were 100%. The gauntlet that they had to face. Coach Bud can't make adjustments and things of that nature. And that's one thing that I will say, that because I've said it plenty of times. He doesn't make, like, a lot of in-game adjustments, but he makes game-to-game adjustments. And this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought Monty Williams was going to make enough in-game adjustments to counteract what Mike Budenholzer was doing game to game. And what happened with Monty Williams is the roles reversed. While Bud was making adjustments game to game, Monty Williams stopped making adjustments in-game and game to game. Because the last 4 games, the Suns played them the exact same way. They failed to double Giannis, which is a big mistake. Shaq averaged 30-something in the 2000 finals, like 38 and 12 or something. But he was getting doubled. Period. Giannis wasn't getting doubled. So just imagine if Giannis was getting doubled. That might have kind of negated some of his play. Also, they didn't force the Milwaukee Bucks to be a 3-point shooting team, which they've struggled mightily in the playoffs. I think it was game 5. They had like a good shooting showing from 3. Overall, they struggle from 3, which would behoove you to say, we're going to pack the paint, we're going to build this wall, and Middleton, Holiday, Connaughton, all those guys, they're going to have to get 6 to 8 threes each for them to win the game. And that would have showed you right there, besides Middleton, Holiday was struggling, everybody else was struggling from the outside of the field. Pack the paint, and if they beat you shooting threes, that's it. It's just the in-game adjustments They weren't there, and I think part of it was just like a lot of emotion, and it was just like a lot of we want to win this for CP. Devin Booker's legacy. They started falling into narratives instead of focusing on X's and O's. And in the Bucks, they started taking a lot of emotion out of it. You see what I'm saying? The guys were just like, we're down 2-0, but we still got to go home and take on the home court. Game 5 is a must win. Drew Holiday comes out, does his thing. Giannis does his thing, of course. DeAndre Ayton is not really the guy we thought he is. Let's attack him more. Let's get him in foul. Everything was like more calculated to the game. The Suns was like everything was emotion. Like what was Chris Paul? We feel good in this position. There was no disposition of we gotta do this or take on the challenges of defending. Like Devin Booker wasn't taking on huge challenges of defending. Their defense was very lackluster in this series, and that's what cost them the series. Because for the most part, they shot well except for a couple of dud games. But their defense, they allowed the other team to shoot well, and it was all in the paint. They got out-rebounded, they got out-physical, which is a skill. Being physical is a skill. Karl Malone, Shaq, Gary Payton, guys that are physical. You see what I'm saying? Like, rebounding is a skill. Dennis Rodman, he's in the Hall of Fame, for rebounding. Things that are skills, people are playing them out to say, like, oh, that doesn't take a lot to do. But guess what? This is what wins you a title. Rebounding, getting in the paint, mucking up the game, being physical, being able to intimidate guys. Giannis had 5 blocks in that closeout game 6. That intimidation, that's a skill. Rasheed Wallace, Shaq, Patrick Ewing, intimidating guys, make guys miss. Like Devin Booker had a lot of layups he was going to shoot, and he was thinking about Giannis. Giannis wasn't even in the game. Short arm and hooks. Those things are skills. So don't ever let anybody downplay your skill set. I think that's what happened in the NBA. Like everybody's like, because we got to play basketball in a way that is so smooth and free flowing, we can't play that bully ball anymore. It's frowned upon, guys. It's not. And I was waiting. See, this is the funny thing. We were waiting for a big to come into the game and be like, you know what? We ain't gonna be finessing all day. I'm about to take it back to the old school. Like, guess who was to do it? It wasn't a traditional big. It was Giannis Antetokounmpo, and really showing like, I don't have no help in terms of like a super team. The Bucks took a risk on me. They took a risk on Middleton, risk on Drew Holiday trade, and we champions. And that is like the ultimate success. You have nothing but accolades to throw upon the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're showing small markets. It's okay to commit big money to your guys, because they can come through for you. So all them teams that are being cheap and everything, and you're a fan of a team that's a small market and being cheap, let them know to spend that bread. Because it gets you a championship. Especially, like, think about the climate we're in. Think about all the teams and everything that had to happen. Of course, injuries happen, but just the war with attrition. Like, Giannis, we didn't even think he was going to play the series. That's what made me pick the Suns. Because I was like, well, he might not even play. And he ends up playing. And, I said I wouldn't be surprised if they win the series because Giannis is the best player on the court, period. But just for him to be at 100%, I mean, all of that had to fall into effect. People forget that. We almost had a series without Giannis. So, it's crazy. Who's Junction? Who's Means Hoopla? Like, comment, subscribe.